of October 28th of 2024. What a week. What a week. It's a busy week. It's Halloween. It's the Scorpio new moon. And there's other stuff happening besides. So let's get right to it. Okay, so we start this week with some kind of wonky energy as Venus squares Saturn. Venus is in Sagittarius. She wants to get out and have a good time. She wants to have some fun. And Saturn's in Pisces. And, Saturn never really wants to go have that much fun. It's responsibilities and things like that. We could think about Saturn and Pisces and the types of responsibilities and some of the weighty issues that are surrounding us. But basically, it comes down to Venus would like to go out and have a little bit of fun. If you're watching this on the weekend, we're getting a little bit of this Venus square Saturn energy on the 26th, 27th, and into the 28th. Actually, by later on Monday, it's going to kind of almost sort of dissipate a little bit. So this is really the energy that begins the week. Then, we kind of carry on, sort of a business as usual sort of situation. We're waning down into the new moon. The new moon's going to be on Friday. And so whenever we're waning into the new moon, we're thinking about it in terms of wrapping things up, finishing up stuff. It's a good time. It's anything that has to be done for the end of the month. If you have end of the month stuff to do, like if you send out newsletters to your clients and folks, you can get my newsletter if you want. It's a good time to do all the end of the month activities. We're getting closer and closer and closer to the new moon. And then on Wednesday, Mercury is going to oppose Uranus. Mercury is in Scorpio, where it's a very analytical view of things. Our communication tends to be very analytical, and is going to oppose Uranus, and Uranus is in Taurus. Well, that's not the essence of the thing, I don't think. The signs are not terribly important, but this is terribly important. Uranus, Mercury aspects often are times when we have fairly brilliant ideas, where we can see things a different way, or we can change our perspective on things. If you're digging for the facts, you might find something that's quite surprising. When it comes to communication, you certainly get your message across, if you take my meaning. The problem with this is the potential for being a little sharp, of not necessarily being tactful. Mercury in Scorpio, we might hear a little bit of sarcasm, that kind of thing. Right. So there can be, you want to be careful, and you might actually not be saying things in a way that you intend to be sarcastic or anything like that, but it might be perceived as such anyway. So be a little careful about that. Mercury, Uranus aspects, good opportunity for doing things like actually speaking on the phone or face to face rather than text messaging, because text messaging. You can say something and you mean it in a very, very normal kind of way. And, people will take it in a bad kind of way because they read what they want into it, or they just read things a little bit differently. Anyways, you get the idea. Brilliant insights, some surprises. You dig for the facts and you get some surprises. And then when it comes to communication, you're going to want to be a little bit careful. I would think, well, Mercury, Uranus, be careful driving. Mercury then goes on to make a trine aspect to Neptune. And this is the Halloween aspect. This actually happens on the 31st. And it really suggests the kind of opening up to all different kinds of possibilities in the way that you think about things, in the way that you're communicating things. It's a nice, soft, emotionally based kind of thing. It's great for meditation. It seems like it would be, you know, if you're a medium or a channel or something like that, and I don't suppose many of you are, I'm not. But if you are, this would be the perfect time because it's happening on Halloween. And so I feel that there's just a sort of creative flexibility. Like, it's already a time when we say, the veils between the worlds are thin. And then, all the more thin with Mercury in Scorpio trine Neptune in Pisces. And this is definitely a time to be getting messages from other realms, any other realm. If you pick another realm, you get a message from it. Or maybe you don't pick the realm that you're getting a message from. Well, I digress. You get the idea already, I'm sure. This happens on the 31st, and we're coming into the new moon early on November 1st. Depending upon where you are in the world, it may actually happen on Halloween. I'm not sure about that. Anyways, the 31st and the 1st. Already Scorpio season is this time of change. It is the time the energy of the year is pulling inwards. If we think about, let us say, for example, that at the March equinox, when the sun goes into Aries and gets above the horizon for more than half the day, that's like the beginning of the year. Astrologically, we always consider that the beginning of the year. And then things come into bloom in Taurus season and, continues on through, you get the idea. For those of you in the Southern Hemisphere, anyway, reaches the peak in summer. And then, the Libra equinox, now the sun is below the horizon most of the time, but, we're still in the midst of the year. And then we hit Scorpio season and, the leaves come off the trees. Here on Long Island, the leaves are coming off the trees, or the trees are changing color much earlier than they usually do. By the way, usually right around Halloween, we start to see some significant changes, but we're already a week or so into peak. I think it's because we're having a bit of a drought. I digress. Anyways, the thing is, in Scorpio season, the leaves come off the trees. This is the death of the year. This is the pulling inward of the energy. This is the waning of the year. And it's very apparent. And Scorpio's a fixed sign, doesn't necessarily love to let go, uh, likes to sort of hold on. And it's the difficulties that are associated with the energy drawing inwards. That's particularly true in our culture where we like to push forward with everything all the time. This is the ultimate yin season. I'll probably say that in Pisces season too, but this is the ultimate yin season and in a very yang culture. We don't really love that the energy withdraws inwards. We recognize it, though. We recognize that the energy is drawing inwards during Scorpio season. It's not a great time to launch new projects. We get a lot of, let's say, we're going to do things after the holidays or in the new year or something like that. We start already looking forward towards the time when the light starts growing again after the Capricorn solstice, and probably give it a little bit more time, January, February, even March, to really get stuff started. This is the way we think about things, and it makes sense. It makes sense. We can blame it on the holidays. We need the holidays to keep us, keep us busy, to give us something to do while the energy draws inwards. Anyway, that's true of Scorpio season in terms of the solar cycle of the year. And right now, at the kind of peak of Scorpio season on Halloween, or All Souls Day, All Saints Day, Dia de los Muertos, Sawa. We have the new moon. So just as the solar cycle is drawing downwards, so we are also at the base of the lunar cycle. It's also a very inward time. And we have that nice Mercury Neptune aspect. I would say the end of the week It should be a beautiful time. It should be something that feels good. It should, if you're not looking for too much, it should be pretty good, right? This is not this is probably not the most boisterous Halloween ever, right? This is probably a more subdued kind of energy, if you're celebrating Halloween, probably a little bit more subdued. It's for the rest of us, we're all sort of celebrating Halloween, but for the, in general, it's a quiet time. It's a more withdrawn inward time. It's great for meditation. It's great for, just, you know, they're always showing like old horror movies. If you don't like meditating, go watch Dark Shadows or The Addams Family or something like that. It's it's a time for sort of letting things go as much as you can. And yeah, we do kind of try to make friends with death at the time. We have our Dia de los Muertos skulls out there, or the Day of the Dead type of thing, and we have all the Nightmare Before Christmas kind of. We make fun of things, even serious horror movies. There's a big tradition of having them introduced with a little bit of comedy, like in the old days, Elvira, and these days, Svengoolie. The kind of like it's what's scary, you kind of make fun of, and you approach it, and then you sort of back away a little bit, and you kind of try to make light of it a little bit, while on the other hand acknowledging it. And that's this energy of this new moon, and the new moon really falling right at the Halloween All Souls Day point is pretty significant. uh the actual day itself is it's the middle of the autumn season. It's one of the mid-season holidays, which is the Celtic Sawa is, I guess, the not the original, because it's been in many cultures, but it's sort of like in Western culture, it's sort of one of the base holidays. It is mid-season, like Candlemas in February, or Groundhog Day, as we'll call it, and May 1st, and Midsummer Day, which kind of gets a gloss. But it's the middle of the season, and it's recognized as being kind of a turning point. We've already packed all of this Halloween, Day of the Dead kind of energy around it, and then we have the new moon and stuff like that. So it's a very, very powerful time, although it's very inward time. When it comes to new moons, lots of folks like to set intention at the new moon. And it's always great if you can sort of set intentions that resonate with the new moon. For example, next month in Sagittarius, it'd be great for things having to do with travel or learning, exploration, and stuff like that. For this particular new moon, I would avoid it. I would avoid it. I would, it's fine to meditate and things like that. I would avoid setting intentions. It's a very powerful new moon on a very powerful part of the solar cycle. And although you probably could manifest a whole bunch of stuff, it's a little bit of a live wire. It's a little bit of a live wire, and you probably don't want to touch it. It's probably better to just let it go. There's not, you could manifest scorpionic things. You could probably manifest about anything. Maybe it's better not to. Maybe it's better to just kind of let it go. That's my bit of unsolicited. Well, you're watching. I guess it's sort of solicited advice. Anyhow, going forward from there, the moon will be waxing into Sagittarius on Saturday. So Saturday night should be a pretty good night. If you're having your Halloween party delayed until afterwards, it's probably a better time than right there on the new moon on Thursday or Friday. It's not a lot better, but it's something. We also have on Sunday, we have a real mixed bag of energy this is one of those times, you've heard me talk about this before. If you subscribe and watch a lot, you should subscribe and like. Uh, as the moon waxes, we slowly get moving, ideally. But what we have this time around is two aspects that are really kind of hot. And they are, first of all, Venus is opposite Jupiter. Now, an opposition is technically a tense aspect. And Venus, Jupiter, they never really have a bad time of it, though. They're just too friendly with each other to, really, really cause trouble. And Venus is in Sagittarius, which is Jupiter's home sign. And so this is a really nice aspect, and we will be feeling this on Saturday and Sunday. And I would say probably even into Monday, but that's next week. We'll talk about that in time. It is it's great for socializing and getting out. It is good. It's good if you're doing one-on-one stuff, with your partner type of thing, but it's especially good if you're getting out and socializing a bit. you know uh maybe take a ride someplace, or whatever you want to do, just do it. It's a nice aspect. It would also offer opportunities for romance, socializing, whatever you like. However, also at the same time, we have Mars opposite Pluto. This is not the nicest aspect going on. Mars and Pluto, well, they understand each other, but I wouldn't say that they were friends. Mars is at the very end of Cancer, where he's about to jump into Leo. Mars at the very end of Cancer, where he's got this very sort of tight, conservative vibe. It's Mars in Cancer is about advocating for and defending the family, the clan, the country, however you want to put it. So it's that conservative, traditional kind of energy that it's not where Mars likes to be. He likes to be able to push himself out and do things. Pluto, mind you, is at the end of Capricorn, where he is reminding us of all the things that have happened while he's been in Capricorn since 2008, and giving us a real day of reckoning. More on that next week and beyond. He's giving us a real day of reckoning, or a month of reckoning, where we look at some of the changes to our institutions and the structures of our society. These two planets are tangling with each other. It could make for some divisive energies, let's say. Pluto is in Capricorn, which is Mars. It is Mars' favorite sign because he likes to have something to do. And in Capricorn, there's always something to do. It directs his energy. I don't know if that's going to help all that much with this. It's a good idea. You were waiting for the practical aspect of this, right? It's a good idea to have some way to direct your energies, especially if you're feeling a little too much energy. Find a way to direct it. Maybe a little bit of sensible exercise would not be a bad thing to do. Don't overdo it, but a little sensible exercise. A little competition, perhaps, a little friendly game of cards or something like that. Do people play cards? We play cards sometimes around the house. Something along those lines to sort of burn off the energy if you're feeling it getting kind of strong. But watch out, because some people are going to be coming at it, right? Some people are going to be ready to fight with this energy, and you don't want to get in the crossfire of it. You don't want to, and you don't want to provoke. You don't want to provoke problems. You might want to provoke problems. That's the problem with Mars opposite Pluto. You might want to provoke problems, but don't. It's not, at the end of the day, you're not going to be happy with the results. You had that nice Venus Jupiter energy that is looking to have a good time. You've got the moon in Sagittarius, and eventually, the moon will be in Sagittarius the whole weekend. And you want to take advantage of that and make the most of it. You don't want to get all tangled up with Mars and Pluto. Anyway, that's what I have to say about it.